You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Matt Migaki, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians. We talk all about their lives and music while sharing killer craft beers. If you've ever wanted to sneak backstage and share a beer with one of your favorite musicians, well, Vox and Hops is the podcast for you. This week on the podcast, I dropped a killer episode with Johannes Ekström of Avatar. There is this episode and over 440 other ones to help you enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. So what are you waiting for? It's time to become a Vox and Hops head. Cheers!
Just a quick note about this week's episode. You'll notice that the sound quality is definitely not up to par. That would be because we recorded in my friend Jess's car as we were driving up to the Tacoma Guitar Festival here a few weeks ago. But we figured, why not get a little content out of the deal while we were at it? So we threw a mic up in the car and we just chatted. So there's lots of noise. I did hear some weird digital artifacts come in and out once in a while. I don't know what that's about. But it's there. And if it's just too much for you to bear, join us for the next episode where things should be back to normal. So carry on, and I hope you enjoy this little chat. Bye. Hey guys, how's it going? If you don't know, well, you should know, right?
Maybe.
No. Welcome to today's episode of the ToneMob.com podcast, the show about guitar tone and the people behind it. I'm your host, Blake Weiland, and with me today, I'm riding in a car with one of my best friends, Jeston Porter.
Hey, everybody.
So hopefully this doesn't sound too terrible.
It's probably going to.
It probably will, but that's okay. You know, we prefaced it with the fact that we're in the car, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We are driving down 205, or up 205 rather.
Yep.
Traveling from Seattle. I'm
Seattle.
I'm so confused.
We're going from Portland to Tacoma.
Yes.
For the Tacoma Guitar Festival.
Yes. We're going up there. We're going to hang out with some homies. We're going to see, of course, our hometown hero, Leon from Pelican Noise Works.
Yay!
And Matthews Effects. And some Sinusoid guys. Wait, Sinusoid?
Who's that?
Guess what, Jess?
What?
Sinusoid has sponsored this episode of us riding in the car and talking.
You know what? They're swell guys.
They are. They're swole guys.
They're swole guys.
Yeah, they're so jacked. So if you want the most jacked guys making your guitar cables, then you definitely want to hit up Sinusoid, because not only are they super swole and have large biceps,
It's true.
they also make awesome guitar cables, and
I own 2 of them.
there you go. What more do you need?
I need some slivers.
You do need some slivers.
And a Sasquatch.
I need a Sasquatch. Actually, I need a couple Sasquatches.
I was actually going to talk to them about that today, so...
If you don't know what we're talking about, maybe it's your first time tuning in and you're thinking, why are these guys recording while they're driving in a car? And, well, I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, that doesn't
but
make sense.
the real beauty of it is Sinusoid makes great cables. The Sasquatch is a big speaker cable.
It's beefy.
It's super beefy. And the slivers are tiny little patch cables.
Yeah.
The other end of the spectrum. So... that's also good. Since we're on the sponsorship train, we got to get that sweet money.
Sweet money?
Oh, it's so sweet.
Oh,
It's
how sweet?
Oh, it's almost as sweet as the guys from Solid Gold Effects.
Whoa, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, they also sponsored this rather road noise filled episode.
Well, you know what? There's some pretty good guys too, and I'm going to tell you firsthand, They make some sweet pedals.
Well, I would definitely agree with that. I've gotten a chance to play almost everything they make, or at least in current production. And they're one of the few companies I can say that I genuinely have enjoyed every piece. So, the Electro Man, I think I said this on another episode, the Electro Man was actually my first delay pedal.
It was.
I think you remember that.
I was really close, when I was searching for a delay, I was really close to pulling the trigger on that, and I kind of regret not doing it.
Well, I hear about something magic coming down the pipeline, so boys, stay tuned, and maybe I'll tell you off the hot mic what's going on.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I will say that I love that Zeta.
Yeah, the Zeta's my go-to for drives.
Yeah.
I love the Zeta. And you got
amazing.
the Deluxe,
I got
right?
the Deluxe.
Yeah, the Deluxe is so cool. So many options.
It's so great. You can run. I'm running at 18.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you run at 18?
I'm running at 18, and it sounds so good.
That's killer.
So, yeah. So, if you haven't, definitely check out some Solid Gold effects, because they are solid gold.
Oh, totally. Let's see.
Really cheesy.
Hey, it worked.
It works.
The truth in advertising there is it's so wonderful.
It's true.
All right, so we've taken care of that. Let me tell everybody who Jess is, if you don't already know from interacting in the various Facebook groups.
I'm just a dude.
He's a dude, but he's the dude.
Who?
Yeah.
Well, now hold on just a minute. I ain't no Jeff Bridges.
Well, no, there's only one.
There's only one.
There can only be one.
That's true.
If you want to be Jeff Bridges, you're going to have to literally take a sword and go cut his head off.
and
then
absorb his power
and
through the quickening.
Yes, exactly. It's the only way you can become Jeff Bridges.
I don't want that to happen.
No, I don't want. It's. I mean, as much as I would like you to be Jeff Bridges, I'm okay with you being Jeston Porter as well.
All right, I appreciate that.
So Jess is one of my best friends from way back. We were in our very first band together. In fact, I think that's how we started hanging out. Right?
It was, because we both hung out through our bass player.
Yeah.
Who was talking to both of us at the same time about starting a band.
Right.
And we were like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, Blake. I was like, I don't know who that is. And so we started hanging out through that and very quickly became really good friends.
Yeah. We were like, man, our bass player's name's Kale, and I was like, man, I really want to start like a punk rock band. And Kale's like, yeah, me too. And then pretty soon we started all hanging out playing Green Day covers together, in which I was playing the drums, and it was fairly atrocious at best.
Yeah.
Then how did that happen? Then we got Keith, who was actually a good drummer.
Yeah.
A really good drummer, way better than
insane drummer
he should have been for our band.
Yeah. I think it was a good thing because he, at least for me, pushed me to be a better guitarist, and it helped me. He definitely helped me learn.
Well, that's true. There was some weird transition period though where where I was just singing.
It's all,
and I didn't know how to play.
I think it was because you didn't have a guitar.
That's right. I just had an acoustic.
Yeah.
And we tried.
Once in a while, you would play your dad's guitar.
Yeah, his 335S.
Yeah.
And
pretty sweet guitar.
That thing was killer. It is killer. Still have it, or he has it. But yeah, I'm just trying to remember how all this played out. I was playing like that blue Ibanez acoustic electric, and
I think you did that through the PA a couple of times.
Yeah, and it was terrible because it just would. We're trying to play rock and roll, and it's just feeding back all over the place. I can remember like once or twice that it actually sounded passable.
It sounded okay a couple of times, but for the most part, it was pretty terrible.
Yeah, and then I got that crate and my Les Paul.
For graduation.
Yeah, like 16. Yeah. And that's when things started, which sounds funny. I got my crate, and that's when things started to turn around.
Well, to be fair, I had a Line 6 Spider 2 at the time.
That's true.
Your crate totally destroyed my amp, and I was like, screw this, I gotta get one of those too.
Yeah. For $120 or whatever the thing it was, like, I just played mine the other day, and I was like, you know what?
It doesn't sound bad.
This thing's not bad for $120.
I mean, you can get some really bad sounds out of it, but if you dial it in right, it's not a bad amp.
No, I was very surprised. I hadn't plugged into it for probably a year, and there was that thread in 60 cycle, and I was like, huh. I was just sitting there. I just got done recording another episode, and I was looking at it. It was funny because any of the pedals that were sitting on top of it were worth more than the amp. It was just like,
that's so good.
Okay, but I was like, I haven't played that thing in a while. I won't plug in and hear it, and it was surprisingly good.
Especially that clean channel.
Well,
the reverb sounds pretty good.
It
too.
does. I actually was rocking the Dream sequence. Speaking of, or not the Dream sequence, the Infinite Jets through it.
Oh, dude.
Speaking of pedals, it costs way more than the amp.
Yeah. No kidding.
And dial in just a little bit of reverb on that clean channel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I was loving life. It was one of those like I don't want to stop playing right now. There were so many.
Dude, I gotta get my hands on that thing. Start playing with it.
Oh yeah, you definitely need to come over to the shred shed and do a little pedaling.
One of my favorite places on earth.
You helped build it.
It is the happiest place on earth, I think.
It's better than Disneyland?
It's better than Disneyland.
Nice. So let's take a couple steps back. So
right.
then we're kind of going through our musical backstory in a
because it's really the same.
It is
more or less.
It's pretty much identical.
Yeah.
I mean,
we could get into before we were in the band and what each of us were doing.
I think that would be a good thing. So
okay.
I got a little bit more there, but let's talk about you. What I don't know that we've ever really talked about this.
I don't really think we have.
What made you start playing guitar in the first place?
Okay, so back, when I was really, really young, as far as back as I can remember, and probably even farther back, I always wanted to play. Just because my dad, he was a big classic rock guy, a lot of southern rock going on, like Outlaws and Lynyrd Skynyrd, 38 Special, and just really guitar front bands, and like Molly Hatchet,
right,
stuff like that. So the guitar always was like, man, that's so cool. I want to be one of those guys.
Right.
And when I was, I don't even remember how old I was. I think I was like 8. He got me like a little junior acoustic guitar. And I tried for a little while to learn, and I don't know, I kind of gave up. And
as 8-year-olds do.
As 8-year-olds do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I picked up trumpet in 6th grade. Started playing that.
I totally forgot that you had anything to do with brass instruments.
I want to pick it up again just because I was like, man, it sounds so cool. And I still love the sound of it, but I don't remember anything about it. So if I pick it up again, it's going to be terrible for a long time. And I've got enough stuff going on. And I'm just like, but I do want to pick it up.
Right.
Anyway, so I played trumpet for a couple of years, and I think halfway through 8th grade is when I quit playing, and I started taking woodshop and all sorts of stuff, making projects, because I've got a lot of interests, so I couldn't just stay with that for whatever reason. And it was another, I don't know, 3 or 4 years probably, because it was 10th grade. Yeah, it was 10th grade, halfway through. I took a guitar class at high school, and that was an excuse for me to just be like, okay, I'm going to learn guitar. So I basically didn't do all of my other homework, and I just sat in my room and played guitar and learned songs. And it was
like, what are you doing? I'm doing my homework.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
yeah, pretty much.
Leave me alone.
So that was when I really, really got into playing, and started off with some CCR tunes and learning the easy stuff, because let's face it, CCR isn't really hard to play.
Depends on if you're good or not. I'm not good, so everything's hard to play.
You're getting better though.
I think you've been saying that for 10 years.
No, but you actually are this time. You really are. No, but you're not bad. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I started getting more into punk, and I still only had an acoustic. And I think when we were talking about starting the band, I was like, crap, I only have an acoustic. I need to get an electric. And at that time, Ryan was selling his Strat.
Right.
I was like,
Ryan's our drummer Keith's brother,
Yeah.
by the way, who's a shred head.
yeah, he's ridiculous. So I bought his Strat from him and had that little that little Marshall practice amp.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I forgot about that.
I did too.
So I started playing electric and was like, man, this sounds good. And it really didn't at all. It was terrible.
But it was closer to what you wanted to sound like than not.
Because it did have a little drive channel on it. So I was like, oh yeah, now we can play rock and roll. This is good. And it sounded like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what got me really playing. And then eventually I got that line 6. And it obviously sounded like garbage, but
It was louder though.
it was louder.
Yeah.
It had more effects.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I remember when
pretty much it.
I think you got the line 6 right basically when we were like, yeah, let's have a band. It seems like.
Yeah, I think so. Well, we'd played in Keith's shop a few times when I still had that Marshall.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, he plays so loud, I can't hear myself over him.
No.
So I was like, I need to get a louder amp if we're gonna play. And so that's when I got that line 6.
Got it.
And as
You were
as
playing with
kids
it.
do.
You have that Strat and the line 6.
Yep.
Ironically, though, the Strat's actually a really good guitar.
I still love that guitar. I put it up on reverb, and I was like, man, I need some money. All right, I'll cut the Strat.
Mm-hmm.
I put it up, and there was a guy that was interested in it, but I had it as local pickup only, and he's in the Midwest. And he's like, would you be willing to ship it? I was like, man, there is somebody interested in it. This just got really real.
Right. It's too real right now.
I still love that guitar. I had just played it like a week before that. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can sell this. And I thought about taking it down. And that guy was like, hey, I'm interested in your guitar. And I was like, let me think about that for a few days. And so I got back to him. I was like, I can't sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't sell that guitar. And he's like, dude, yeah, it's fine. I totally understand. So
Yeah, it's been there. I mean, since almost day one. It's
Yeah.
a tough thing.
it's my first guitar. I've always been a Strat guy, and for whatever reason, that particular Strat just sounds really good.
It does. It sounds really nice. It's never like sometimes you get them and you're like, oh, this could use some better pickups.
Yeah.
Or something. And that particular one, for whatever reason, it's one of those nice combos that just.
And I just love the way the neck feels. Yeah,
I'm not even a Strat guy, and I like that guitar.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I remember you talking about it, and I was like, well, man needs cash. But it's like, man, I don't really want to see that thing go.
Yeah.
But you know, hey, man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Yeah.
But glad that I was able to stick around.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's funny because our backgrounds are so similar in a lot of ways, and even though we weren't really hanging out before the band,
Mm-hmm.
and as I'm just thinking about, like, yeah, I played a different instrument first. I played piano, and then I tried to play the drums, which I've talked about on here a couple times, but I need to reiterate something. Like, when I was playing the drums, right, I had them in my bedroom.
Yep.
And I would take them out from behind the bed, set them up, so they'd basically take up the whole bedroom. You know, because I had shelves and a dresser and other things in there already. But so once the drums were in there, that was the entire room. And I don't know if you ever seen this happen.
I
don't think
Yeah,
you did.
I did.
Did you?
I
Okay.
did a couple of times. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember, but anyway, took up the entire room. My parents' house was not that big. It's like 12 or 1,400 square foot or something.
Somewhere in there.
Just a regular ranch-style house. And I would set up and blast such System of a Down, like, in my bedroom and play drums to it while my mom was in the kitchen cooking. And she just let me do that sometimes.
That, you know, like, there's a lot of people that wouldn't let that happen.
I don't think I would let that happen. Like, I was like, in retrospect, I was just like, yeah, well, I'm trying to play the drums, and I gotta learn to play the drums. So, how do you learn to play the drums? You turn music up and you play the drums to it. That's what I thought, anyway. And my mom just let me play. Yeah, she let me play System of a Down, which was Toxicity was my jam at that time, and still love that album.
It's a good album.
And I'm just sitting there trying to play like Deer Dance and all this stuff, like stuff way beyond my abilities.
This is where you start.
Yeah, this is definitely how you start off. And I'm just beating the drums, and as like you would if you were in a full blown band in my room. I don't know how my mom didn't come in and just shoot me. Like, I mean, I would ask her before I'd do it, and like, hey, is it okay if I practice drums? And I didn't really catch it at the time, but in retrospect, I remember that look in her eye, like I just died inside a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Play.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Do it. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't know what I was doing. In more ways than one.
Yeah.
I still feel kind of bad about that when I think about it. Bad drumming really loud, coupled with music you really don't like.
Yeah. That's pretty brutal.
I'm glad I stopped that, and well, no one's happier than my mom that I stopped that. Ironically, I'm a better drummer.
Please pick up a guitar.
Yeah.
Please do.
Anything's better than this. Anything. Yeah, good times. But yeah, I still remember the date. So I told Dad. My dad always played too, and I told him like I kind of want to play guitar. Of course, what I meant by that was I wanted to play System of a Down.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, let's get you in a, we got this old Takamine acoustic knocking around the family. Let's get that in your hands and see if you enjoy it. But that was actually a really nice guitar.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I forgot about the guitar, but man, it was not bad.
No, it was a very nice guitar. It's still around.
Nice.
Yeah. Grandpa Boone still has it.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Hey, we need to go jam with Grandpa Boone sometime.
Well, he doesn't know how to play it, but he has it.
Dang it. Like, man, that would be a good time.
He can blow a mean harmonica, though.
Hey, let's jam with Grandpa Boone.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's not actually a bad idea now that I think about it. But, yeah, speaking of Grandpa Boone, which this is funny because we're just we're talking about all this cast of characters that nobody knows but us. But speaking of Grandpa Boone, he's my grandpa on my dad's side. He makes all of my guitar straps. Like every holiday that would involve gift giving, such as Christmas or the birthday or whatever, he's like, what do you want? I'm like, just make me another guitar strap. Yeah. Because they're so cool.
Man, I gotta say that Blake here, we'd been, so, a little backstory here. Our drummer gave me a nickname while we were recording a cover. And
this is Joshua?
Yeah, Joshua.
Okay, current drummer Joshua.
Current drummer Joshua.
Yeah.
He gave me a nickname while we were recording a cover before we were anchored ashore. And
back when we were Gravy Train.
Yeah, back when we were Gravy Train. So he just off the cuff was like, "Hey, give me something good, Jeston." Mm-hmm. And so it kind of stuck. And I was like, and we were joking about like getting a guitar strap that says Jeston on it, this and that. I was like, oh man, that'd be cool to have a Grandpa Boone strap that says that. And, well, Blake Weiland here, being the guy he is, told Grandpa Boone about that, and he made me a guitar strap for Christmas. Yeah. And it's the best guitar strap I've ever put on.
Yeah. This episode's sponsored by Grandpa Boone. Who actually is selling his guitar straps on Etsy. But not right now, because he's currently cruising down to the Panama Canal.
Oh, well, that's not a bad idea.
No. He has a small Etsy shop. He just does it for fun. But I'm not even joking. His straps are crazy cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to charge him for that. Though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna charge him.
Hey, nobody gets sponsorship for free.
That's right. I'm gonna need product or monies. Grandpa Boone. But anyway, what do you remember? What the first song we played together was? I feel like it had to have been something by Green Day. I just don't remember what it was.
I remember the first one we played and actually thought it sounded good, which I don't know if it actually did, but it definitely did at the time. Was One of My Lies.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're back.
Oh, hey there. That was weird.
Sorry. I didn't have the phone holder installed properly, and
The
phone decided to fall off randomly.
Yeah.
But Jess figured out this cheap little thing. I thought it was just dumb, but it turns out I am. And it does have the exact adjustment I was looking for. What's new?
It happens to the best of us. And the worst.
And the worst.
But sometimes the best.
Yeah. Not in this case.
Well, you're somewhere in the middle there.
Towards the lower end of the spectrum, let's be honest.
Right.
But yes, it was One of My Lies.
One of My Lies.
And that became our warm-up song.
Yep.
I forgot all about that song. I haven't played it in forever.
It's been a long time. Wait.
We thought about playing it here recently. Did we actually do it?
No, we did. Because you were back there on the drums.
That's
and
right,
I was playing
the
an
drums
acoustic.
again.
Yeah. And we played that. Just me, you, and Kale, and those other two guys.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, that's...
I forgot I was playing drums that night again.
Yep.
Ironically, much, much better
Yes.
than I was back in the day. But still not
Still
good.
not good.
Still not good, but actually passable.
Yeah.
For like you could tell I was playing the drums.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day it looked like I was just trying to kill them.
Pretty much.
So good times.
Yeah. Oh man. Memory lane.
It's quite the place. It's kind of funny to think about some of this stuff, like what we do now.
Yeah.
Is just like a direct. I don't know. Like I would not have thought at 12 or 14 years old that like me learning Nirvana covers would somehow spiral into me being in my late 20s and like working with gear companies and trying to come up with it. Like I never in a million years would have thought that we would be driving up doing what we're doing now.
No.
Like it just
No, this is it's something completely out of the realm of possibilities when I was 17.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we probably didn't. I don't think we even played with pedals until.
I don't know. I was 25 when I got my first tube amp. That was my 25th birthday.
Oh, that's true. So it's really
So
not.
I've only been playing with tubes and pedals for 5 years, 6 years. Yeah.
It seems like a lot longer than that.
It does. But yeah.
And so I'm basically in the same ballpark.
I'm a noob.
Yeah, we're noobs. We're noobs to this thing, which is kind of funny to think about because like it tells you how sick we really are.
Yeah.
Because we were like, as soon as we found what we actually liked, it was like we just went off the deep end with it. This is great.
Is cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I want this pedal. Hey, I want this pedal.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look at that. That's cool. I want that.
I mean, in a relatively short time, we've kind of spiraled out of control.
Yeah, we really have. Wow. And well, I think the big thing for me was going to NAMM. Yeah, NAMM in 2015 when we went down there, meeting everybody, and like everybody was so cool. I was like, man, I really want to support these people. And over the last year, I have gone absolutely insane. Or sorry, it was 2016.
Yeah.
I have gone just completely nuts and bought so much stuff. I'm like, wow, I need to calm down.
But even before that, in all reality, because remember when we recorded the album.
Oh yeah, we did go pretty crazy.
We had a ton of gear already, and that was in a pretty short time frame that we got all that stuff.
Yeah, that is true. And that was actually the first time I got a Matthews effect, because I was looking around for a tremolo, and I think I was between the Dr. Scientist and the whatever that one was called, and then the Matthews conductor.
The Tremolescence.
Yeah, I think I was between that and the conductor, and I went with the conductor and never looked back, and that pedal is still on my board.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
And I love it.
I hear tale of some stuff.
I heard something.
I heard about something. We might maybe get to see something up here. Yeah.
I'm excited now.
I don't know that for sure, and I don't know what that something actually means, but we might be stumbling upon.
I hope it means what I think it means.
Something along those lines today.
Yes.
I don't know that for a fact at all, and I probably shouldn't even be talking about it right now.
Let's just pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, I remember when you got that pedal, and I remember it was funny because the first time I met Rick was actually up at this Tacoma guitar show.
Oh yeah.
I was up here. Well, it might not have been this one. It was definitely in Tacoma. It might have been this gets a little confusing. It might have been the Seattle Tacoma guitar show.
Yeah.
Which is actually a different show.
I think it was. I think it was the SeaTac.
Yeah, I was up there for work, and I was like, oh, there's this guitar show going on this weekend, and I looked at well, I'm not going to be up in Seattle. Oh, I'm going to be up in Seattle that weekend for some stuff. I told my wife, I'm going to run to that guitar show that weekend, in the morning before we head home. And that was the first time I met Rick, and that was so early on. It's funny, I don't even know if he remembers me from that point, but then it's also the first time I met Jack DeVille.
Oh yeah.
Was up then too, and it's just such a weird thing to think about. And now that these are two people that I kind of talk to on a regular basis, and at that time, I don't know, it was 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't have any idea that I was gonna record a podcast.
No.
Or
that wasn't even a thought.
No, it wasn't on the radar at all.
That was it. We were just going, oh, look at all this gear. Mm-hmm. Look at all this cool stuff.
Yeah, and it's just such a weird. It's so weird to trace the steps back.
Yeah.
Like I said, from learning Smells Like Teen Spirit to now driving up to go do actual real business stuff. It's so weird.
That and shenanigans.
Well, and shenanigans. I'm sure Rick will shoot me with a Nerf gun.
Probably.
So that's fine.
I hope so.
Which is another reason why I really enjoy this industry.
Yeah. It's like everybody's a bunch of goobers, and we all get along, and it's great.
It is.
And I say we like I'm a part of it, and I'm not.
You are, though. In a lot of ways.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Just by association. And actually you are, because you are building. You're building for Leon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you kind of you're in it, dude.
That's a fair point. Yeah. I guess I am now. I don't really think of it though, because I didn't know how to solder before I soldered my Pelotar.
Right. Well, that's generally how that works.
Yeah.
No one knows how to solder till they solder.
Well, but until Leon was like, hey, I'm doing this thing, and if you want one, either I can solder it or you can solder it. And I was like, well, I've never soldered before, so teach me how.
Yeah, might as well learn, right?
And and so the first thing I soldered was a Pelotar, and if you've seen that board, it's insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of parts in there for a fuzz.
It was
for anything really, but especially for a fuzz circuit or fuzz circuits.
It was a heck of a thing to learn on.
Yeah,
and it's actually been a lot of fun. I've discovered that I really enjoy soldering. So
for some people, it's really it's kind of for some people it's a serious pain.
Yeah,
like Brian, Wampler hates production. That's why he does it the way he does it, and he loves design, but he hates manufacturing.
Yeah.
And I am kind of the same way, except I don't know how to design. I just conceptualize.
Yeah. You're an idea guy.
Yeah. I don't like manufacturing. That's not really my thing. But then I know some people, like I think Leon's this way, and I know I've talked to Ryan up with Fuzzrocious. I think he's wired this way a little bit too. Like soldering is kind of like a getting in, like a way to just get in the zone and just kind of this clear your head a little bit.
Yeah.
Which for me, I've done a little bit of it, but to do it consistently, I would go crazy.
Yeah.
I think. But I could see why some people it would be kind of almost like a little zen weird thing.
Yeah.
Just to.
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know. It's cool.
It is cool. It is kind of sad. Making a good solder joint is oddly satisfying.
Yeah.
It's like,
it is.
Look at that.
Yeah. Oh man, that's pretty.
Yeah. It's a funny thing to you wouldn't think so, but once you make a good solder joint, it's like you put a bow on it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, I'm just wired as a manufacturer because I've been a machinist for almost 10 years. I was an assembler before that. Like I've always been that kind of person. Like, manufacturing is what I do.
Yeah.
And so it's just, like I want to learn everything.
That makes sense. It just made me think, like, what kind of person am I? I'm not a manufacturer.
You're an idea guy.
I just have lots of thoughts.
You're an idea guy, and that's just as important as a manufacturer because without the idea guy, there's nothing to manufacture.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point.
And every part of it is just as important as the rest of it.
I have a lot of ideas. Not all of them are good, but eventually, just by the sheer volume, you're bound to stumble upon something decent.
Yeah.
Eventually, just because, like I got 400 ideas today. 399 of them were terrible, but one
is great.
One of them was pretty good. So let's throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. Type of deal.
Yeah.
Good times. I found it interesting. This is completely going off of what we're talking about, but I found it interesting that JHS was coming clear out here today.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away by that. I think it's cool.
I know Josh isn't there today, but like his dudes are there, and I'm like, well, that's quite the.
That's.
I wonder if that's gonna be one of the things. So one thing to note about this show, this particular guitar show, is it's fairly decent sized, but it's also, let's see, how do we put it? It's a lot of. I described it yesterday to a guy as there's a few flamed bowling shirts walking around.
Yeah.
And
a lot of what the heck? What's that thing do?
What do you need all them foot pedals for?
What's that? Why do you need? Don't you just plug into the amp and just let it roll?
Yeah, let your Les Paul into a Marshall. What more do you need?
That's
back in my day. That's all we had.
Yeah, didn't need nothing else.
No. It's not so bad. It's not like, okay, there's guys that don't really care about pedals, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
And then there's guys that actively hate them for no reason, and that's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's troubling.
That makes no sense.
No, I don't get
it.
Like,
I understand if it's not your thing, but don't be a jerk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not one to say that. I mean, plugging the Les Paul and straight into a Marshall is a magical thing.
Yeah,
jump through them channels, and
oh man,
it's amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't understand the guy who is like, psh,
I don't need that.
I don't need that.
You don't need that either.
Yeah. Jimi Hendrix didn't need. Wait a second. wait just a minute. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just say there's some of that walking around, and then I also wonder if maybe having a bigger effects company like JHS come down will help be kind of maybe a little bit of a turning point for this show, because it's a really good show. It's a really good location for a lot of us, and it's decent sized and pretty well run. I hope that maybe it can be a little more diverse in the years to come, and maybe having them come down as a step in the right direction there. I don't know.
I hope so. Because, I'd like to see it grow in that aspect.
Yeah, just get some more of the boutique-y stuff.
Yeah.
Just the stuff we're into, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's being kind of selfish. Make it more for me.
No.
I want it to be the things that I like, Jess.
But you see, in being somewhat selfish, you also are trying to get the masses to enjoy it too.
I want everybody to like. I want everybody to like pedals as much as I do.
I want everybody to like what I like. Why can't everybody just like what I like?
Yeah, no kidding. Why do we? I don't want you to have any individuality. I want you to like what I like. Because it's ridiculous.
Yep.
It'll be fun though. It's gonna be a fun show regardless. I wonder what kind of cheap junk I'm gonna find though.
I don't know.
Like that's one of my. I will say, as much as I like boutique-y stuff, I also really enjoy looking for cheap junk pedals.
Yeah.
And things too.
They're fun.
Because some of them are actually awesome.
Yeah.
That PV chorus I have sounds great.
How's that DE7 treating you? I saw that you finally got it.
Dude.
Yeah.
The D. I can't even say, yes, it's fairly cheap, but I can't even say that's junk.
No.
I
guess,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But it's cheap.
It's
inexpensive.
It's inexpensive. If I keep talking about it, and other people keep talking about it, it's not going to be inexpensive for very much longer.
That is true.
I think the curtain's starting to get pulled back on that one a little bit. Talking about, I just got, couple steps back. A few months ago, I found a PH7. Ibanez PH7 for like $15 or something.
That thing gets nuts.
And it sounds so good, especially
awesome.
Slammed with fuzz.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I wonder about the rest of the 7 Series. And through talking to some people, like, oh yeah, most of the 7 Series is great. I've heard that the 7 Series Tube Screamer is fantastic. If if your Tube Screamer is your thing, it's a really good one.
Yeah.
But everyone kept talking about the DE7, which was the delay echo.
Yeah.
And the hype is real on that thing. That thing sounds fantastic.
Nice.
The delay setting I like, but the echo setting is that dark, tasty.
Oh yeah.
It sounds. It's a fantastic delay pedal. So
nice.
I really like it.
I really need to start diving a little more into the modulation and delay stuff. It's fun.
Modulation is like the next thing. Like I got really into fuzz, obviously that's never going to go away.
Yeah.
And then I simultaneously, without realizing it, got really into reverb at the same time.
I've always loved reverb.
I have a lot of reverbs, and I didn't really realize that I was buying that many reverbs.
Yeah.
But I discovered my love for phaser in the last and flanger.
And it's funny because I used to not like those at all.
I think we just weren't using them right.
That could be. But listening to anybody that uses phaser, like I'll use Van Halen as an example. I'm just like, whatever. It's not that cool. But now I'm like, actually, heck, this is fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun. And one of the things I never picked up on as a kid, even though I listened to it a million times, was how much phaser is all over the Outlaw Country stuff.
Yeah.
I never paid attention to it.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, Waylon Jennings loved himself some phaser.
He sure did.
and it sounds good. It doesn't stand out in that weird 80s way.
Uh-huh.
It's like, it's just part of the sound.
I think, that's what has always turned me off to phaser and flanger, is how it was used mostly throughout the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And it just always sounded way too much. And I don't know, I just never liked it.
One thing I'm excited to try, and I don't know, I want to get, and somebody probably makes this, and I don't even know about it. I mean, you could do it on a mixing board, but I want to try it in a pedal board setup. Most of so I'm going to stumble around with my words for 40 minutes until I can say what I actually mean.
All right.
Basically, I love the Chase Bliss Spectre.
Yes.
I I know they have the Blue Knob mod that makes it a little quieter and some stuff, but I have not sent mine in because I'm so in love with the purple knob version that I'm like, is it gonna change? I just kind of learned to embrace the noise with it. And I'm like, is it gonna change some things that I like about it? You know, it's not perfect, but maybe that's what I like.
Yeah.
So I haven't ever sent one in. I kind of want to just try a blue knobber and see, and just see, and then I'm not willing to gamble right now. But the point is, it's got a mix knob on it, and I've found, I think that is really crucial in getting non-cheesy flange and phase sounds.
Yes.
And so I want just like a wet dry pedal, and I'm trying to think. I think Exotic Effects makes a blender. I'm trying to think of who else makes a blend pedal. Maybe Lail. But just like, you just literally just plug stuff into it and blend to taste.
Oh,
you
man.
know? It's just like putting a big mix knob on your loops.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, so I think, because most phaser and flanger does not have a mix knob. Or at least any of the ones I have, the Chase Bliss is the only one that has a mix knob.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Huh.
So I want to get something like that just for experimenting.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It seems like a fun thing to try. But I'm pretty sure the blender is made by Exotic. That might be the ticket. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Huh. Interesting.
What's your feelings on chorus?
Man, I've never been a huge fan, but I think, I listen to some people use it and I go, man, that sounds really good. And every time I try to use it, I'm like, man, that sounds like garbage. So I think I just have to play with it a little more. I did get the Ventura vibe from Digitech.
Mm-hmm.
I had that for a while. I did like it, but it's very, I don't know. I think it's an acquired taste, and I'm starting to acquire a taste for it, but I'm not all the way there yet.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to try a Julia though, because I've heard everybody that likes chorus is saying that is the chorus pedal to get.
The Julia seems really, really cool to me.
Yeah.
Only chorus, well, that PV chorus I have sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I like that one, but it's a little different. It's like two choruses.
Yeah. I do. That's what I want to try. I want to try Jack's double chorus.
The double
Mr.
chorus
Black.
is super cool. That's it is. It's a completely different thing altogether. And I don't know, I'll have to talk to him. I don't know what the story is, but the double chorus it's not double. It's something like 8 chorus lines or something.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy sounding.
That's insane.
You can actually, if you set it just right, it can actually do through 0 flanger on it too. Yeah.
Dude.
It's a nuts pedal. His stuff, it's 3 knobs. How crazy can it get?
Yeah. It gets all the crazy. I don't know how he does what he does, but he does magic.
Yeah. It's he explained to me the basically the kind of the concept behind the Shepherd's End.
Mm-hmm.
And how the sound, like what it actually means, and it made I'm like, you're talking way above me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to understand.
It makes sense if you do what he did, like, listen, dummy, and like draw it on a piece of paper, and go back, and I'm like, oh, okay. But he had to literally like draw the waveform on a piece of paper so I could even understand what it was doing, and he was like spouting off numbers and things, and like, you are talking way above me right now. I don't even know what that means.
That guy's a genius. I mean, seriously, in all senses of the word, that guy is a freaking genius.
I'm excited to get him on the show. He finally agreed to do it.
Oh man.
He was one of the first guys I hit up, and he was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. But then he realized that I'm mostly just not a totally mean person, and he said, okay, I think it might be time to come on the show. Like,
Nice.
Finally.
Nice. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a really interesting episode. A lot of people don't realize about him is that a lot of your favorite pedals came from him,
Yeah.
even if you don't know it.
Even if it's not Mr. Black or Jack DeVille or Friday Club, he's had a hand in a lot of different stuff.
He's one of the... There's only a few... I mean, there's lots of engineers, but there's only a few guys in this industry that are kind of the point men for... You know, it's like, some guys they'll hit their head against a wall, and it's like, who do we call?
Well,
And what a thing that a lot of people don't realize is another point man who doesn't always get credit, Keeley, does the same stuff.
oh, really?
He's done design work for lots of people.
Speaking of cool guy.
So, yes, he does a lot of stuff.
Wow. So,
Yeah, Rob, I don't know. I think he might be... I don't know all the ins and outs of everything he's done, but I do know, like, him and Josh work on stuff.
yeah.
But
Well, there was the steak and eggs that they did together.
They did the steak and eggs, and I think he's done other things for him that were just like... that's one thing about this business that's funny, is a lot of people help each other with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and, even competitors are like, oh, yeah, I'll work on that with you. That's cool.
I mean, yeah, they get paid, but, like, it's still a,
Yeah.
it's not... I don't think that there's going to be a... Like...
People aren't, like, fiercely competitive for the most part.
I'm sure there are some guys that, and there's probably a reason that I don't really know them, because maybe I wouldn't like them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or nobody likes them.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm sure there are some, pretty aggressive guys. It's too big of an industry for there not to be, but it's just the overwhelming majority seems to be willing to scratch each other's back if need be. And like I said, there's money involved, but I still don't think there's any amount of money that you could pay, like, a Ford engineer to go work on Toyota stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Ford would never be okay with that.
Yeah.
Granted, that's a much bigger business, but
it's still, like, the same mindset. Like, well, we're competitors. Why would I help you out?
yeah.
Well, a lot of people in the pedal industry are like, yeah, heck yeah, I'll help you figure out that problem. I want you to get that pedal out there. And a lot of them are like, oh, yeah, well, I got this, but if you want something different, check out these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool how everybody helps each other out.
It's one of those rising tide raises all ships mentalities, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And I do believe that to be true because it's a small enough market. It's kind of... A lot of people draw parallels to the craft beer industry.
Yeah.
Which I think, in a lot of ways, is very accurate.
Yeah.
That's obviously, the beer market is obviously much bigger than the guitar industry.
Yeah.
But I think the craft guys have a lot of the same mindset where they're like, we're trying to go, after the market share of Budweiser.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, I think that word is, like, craft. I think it's the craft mindset. You got craft brew, and even though we use the word boutique in the pedal industry, it's a craft.
That's true.
And it's small enough to still be a craft. So I think that might be, if you're in a craft like that, that's the mindset.
It could be.
For the most part.
I'm sure that, like, I don't know. I'm sure the log furniture guys aren't fiercely competitive either.
Yeah, probably not.
Like, we're competing with Lazy Boy, not each other.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's probably that way in any smaller, more hands-on type industry. It's probably like that across the board. I mean, even in, like, hot rods and stuff, I think it's that way.
Yeah.
That, like, the engine guy might not necessarily be a body man, but he'll refer you to the other guy. Technically, he could try.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why. Yeah, I think you're right. It's that kind of craftsman mindset. It's a little different than big industry, I guess.
Yeah.
Trying to decide if we should just talk. and record the entire drive, or if we should cut it off at right around that hour mark like we normally do.
Yeah, let's probably cut it off at the hour mark.
Plus, I'll probably run out of battery. So.
Yeah.
And I need to have battery so I can live stream Rick shooting me with the Nerf gun when I get there.
Oh, I'll be doing some live streaming as well. It's already guaranteed.
All right, Jess. So this wasn't exactly an interview, but it kind of was.
There were some interviewee parts.
So we should, though, wrap up with the classic question.
Oh. Well,
because I don't even know if I fully know the answer to this question.
I don't know if I fully know the answer.
Jess, what kind of pizza do you like?
Well, I've actually been going through kind of a change. I've discovered that tomato-based sauces really hurt my stomach.
Oh.
So
Bummer.
I gotta go with the more garlic stuff. And we went to Fultano's not long ago and got a pizza with a pesto sauce.
I can get on board with pesto.
It was freaking good. And, obviously all the meats. I got to have all the meats.
All the meats.
And, you got your sausage and your pepperoni and your bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, it's all good.
Fultano's, I haven't been there in a long time.
They make some good pizza.
It's a little local joint. I'm gonna have to check that out again.
Yeah. I like the thin crust, the crispy thin goodness. That's what I like. That's what really makes it for me. Because if it's a super soggy crust and the pizza's like falling down and it's all greasy, I don't enjoy it as much.
And I like you put that caveat on there. I don't enjoy it as much.
Oh yeah. Hey, pizza's pizza.
Yeah. I don't enjoy it as much, but I'll
still eat it
because it's pizza.
It's got the things I like on it.
I mean, and I could get roasted for saying this, but even bad pizza's kind of good.
Yeah. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with throwing a Tostino's on the old Traeger.
Yeah, that's right. Put the Totino's on the Traeger. That was a good pizza.
It actually was pretty good.
It was.
We threw some chorizo on that.
Yeah. We kind of fancied it up.
Well, we did.
Yeah. We threw it while we were recording the album. I brought my Traeger over to the studio and we smoked basically every meal. But at one point we smoked Totino's pizzas and sprinkled them with like extra fancy local sausage and cheeses and stuff. And
it was so good.
It was like I don't know. It's like the equivalent of driving a Geo Metro and putting big rims on it. Basically.
Yes.
This is what we did with that pizza. But it made us feel good, so whatever.
Yeah. That was a good time.
Well, maybe we'll revisit with a post-show drive home. We'll get 2 bonus episodes out of this.
Ooh, hey. There you go.
I think I'm just going to drop these both just next week just for kicks.
Yeah, it works for me.
Yeah, might as well. All right, guys. Hopefully this wasn't too horrible of audio quality, but my gut tells me that it is. And for that, you obviously made it this far, so it wasn't that bad.
Sorry.
All right, guys. For Jess, this is Blake, and good luck and good tones. One last thing before we totally sign off here, I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.